I think as a human being, we can be inclined to find what's not working. But when you're looking for the lessons, when you're looking for the wins, you're going to find more evidence of it. So I wrote down my wins this morning, and it can be as the little things are the big things. But I got up when I said I was going to get up this morning, and I got in, kind of extra reps, memorizing material and rehearsing for next week. And I just think allowing ourselves to, in auditions, in class, in our personal lives, look for what's going well. It conditions you to, when the kind of next level is unlocked, find more evidence of what's going well.
Welcome to Get Scene Unscripted. I'm your host, Jesse Malinowski. We are going to dive into acting insights, meet industry pros, and master the business. Don't forget to subscribe and share. We're keeping you behind the scenes and ahead of the game. What's up, everybody? This is Get Scene Unscripted, and I'm your host, Jesse Malinowski. Thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time, welcome to the show. I'm excited to be on your journey for a small amount of time, and I hope to help in a positive way. I have an incredible guest today that you are absolutely going to love. And if you are coming back to the podcast, I have to say thank you so much. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed, you're just taking advantage of us. So hit that subscribe button and let's meet our guest who is back again. But man, has your life changed, I feel like, since. But incredible actress Lauren Buglioli.
The way you say my name, thank you. Thank you for having me back.
I mean, I feel like I did not say it correctly for a very long time. And I was like, I have to learn your name.
Thank you.
And so...
thank you. I appreciate that.
And I want you to know, behind your back, when people talk about you, they butcher your name. And I'm like, that's not how you say it. So
I love every rendition of it, but I appreciate you really. I feel like I need to give you some Italian,
Yeah, there you go.
So the Italian hand there. So thank you. My grandfather appreciates you.
Well, Lauren, since you were here last, you have become a regular on the soap opera Beyond the Gates. Congratulations. You play Vanessa. There's been over 70 episodes that you have personally been in that have aired. And then you're like another 70 episodes ahead or something crazy. But wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Very, very, very grateful. I feel like a different person from the last time I was here.
How so?
I feel like it's been a gift to play a tricky woman who has...
Because she be doing things.
She be breaking the law. She be sleeping around. Her husband has passed.
And she's excited about that.
She's grieving. She made choices that have affected her husband's life. And we're on a soap, this is high stakes, high drama, but she is a woman who is making choices and standing by them. And there's something about playing a flawed, empowered, tricky woman that's been good for me. And I'm constantly in awe of how the demands of what we do, whether we're auditioning or on set, will confront us with ourselves and require us to step into hopefully the best version of ourselves. So we keep leveling up and we keep growing and evolving. And she's kicked my butt in all the best ways.
I love it.
Oh, last looks. Thank you. Thank you, last looks. Thank you.
And you said we were talking earlier, and you were talking about how it's been like good for you. And I was like, I think that's incredible. But then I also was like, you know what? I feel like there's like different times and different things we're going through in our life. Like, you don't have to book the regular on a soap, right? You don't have to book the big job to realize that there's certain things in your life that are like happening for you to help you, to teach you. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. And I think the trap is thinking you're going to get the job, and that's the opportunity
Right.
to be in your greatness. And I think what I keep saying is, I said it to you last time, this shouldn't have happened a moment sooner for me. And all the auditions and the classes and all of the taking the stairs, so to speak, conditioned me to be really comfortable with conditioning, because now I'm just being conditioned in new ways. I like to say I never have anything figured out. I'm out here trying to grow and evolve and get better. But that was happening when I was auditioning regularly in hopes of this job happening. And now it's kind of what we talked about before, next level unlocked, you know? And in a way, then there are new demands, the pressure cooker of a job and being open to public perception. There's new things that all of that conditioning prepares you for. And I think the biggest thing is getting comfortable with that, you know, and growth is uncomfortable. And it's saying, I like to say, who would I be if I loved that feeling? And I don't love it every day, which is why I'm surrounded by people who, if I need a pick me up, might pick me up. But recognizing it's the whole who you become in the process of your goal is the most important thing.
Yeah. How do you feel like your essentially like the new level? How has your life changed? What is the new level that you're at right now? And how are you like, you know, treading those waters?
I'm a former preschool teacher. So playing a woman who is cheating on her husband, who is now deceased, he died at the hands of her lover's henchman. I will have people say to me, I'm mad at you. In like, they'll recognize me and say,
Like
I'm mad at you. Yep. On the streets. And
Like at Sprouts.
yes. Yes. And I have found myself having the very human impulse of wanting to say, I'm not like her. I'm not her. And there's something to being comfortable being disliked and not being in control or in charge of how people perceive you that I feel like my spirit needed to learn. And it's that deep, because you can play all your cards right, so to speak, and someone can still be committed to misunderstanding you. And I am in my villain era. Like, she is objectively a villain, but she's also a flawed human being who I refuse to see as a villain playing her.
Sure.
Because I have to bring humanity to her. And if I'm thinking, oh yeah, she's the bad girl that's, you know, for the streets, as people like to DM me and say, then I'm going to be twirling my mustache and, like, you know, I don't know, dry humping. Excuse me, apologies. But I have to have a sense of humor about it and distance myself from the character and say that actually at the end of the day, if people are big mad and they're activated, that's why I became an artist in the first place. I wanted to stir something in people's souls, make them feel something. If they hate me, I'm making them feel something, and they hate Vanessa, you know, and it's my job to pour humanity into her. But it's just an interesting experience.
I bet.
To remind yourself that you are not her, and that there's a lot of freedom in that. The willingness to be disliked, the willingness to let people be wrong about you, that my job is to put art out into the world and give it 150% and pour heart and soul into it. And then people's reaction to it's none of my business, you know?
Yeah.
So that's been liberating as a former preschool teacher, special ed teacher who sang songs all day and wanted the children and the parents to love her like that. I have a sign in my house that says, be kinder than necessary. The ring on my middle finger says love. Like, I care about being a kind, compassionate human being. And then I get to show up to work, and that doesn't matter. And it matters in how I relate to my my co-stars and the cast, the crew. That's very important to me, to show up and be of service and be kind,
Totally.
to be clear. But when I'm in her skin, there's something to being in in her power that's kind of inspired me to be in my own power.
So you feel like some of the things that the character, like the attributes of Vanessa, you feel like Lauren like kind of needed to learn.
Yes. And that can be true in auditions. Again, that doesn't have to happen on set. So I want to be cognizant that I'm very grateful to be working, that it's an interesting moment in time in our industry, but that can be true in class, that can be true in auditioning. And she's around a lot of men who are very powerful, and something about holding my own as her. I went on a date last week and he was tricky and I held my own.
Yeah.
And I excused myself. That's not something I would have done 2 years ago, 5 years ago. I would have apologized and hoped that they still thought I was kind. And, and I was kind, but I asserted myself when I was disrespected. And that was something that it felt like growth. It felt like, I joked with some friends on set that the spirit of Vanessa McBride helped me hold my own in that moment. But there's something about, I think it's kind of done something to I feel like there's a neuroplasticity to, so it's changed something in me, that being in my power as her has translated to my own life.
That's cool.
And I tried to be a scientist for a minute, so I said neuroplasticity and then panicked. I was like, uh-oh.
Did I just say that right?
Oh, gosh. Forgive me.
I love that. But I do think that I love that you brought up the, like, hey, this could happen in auditions. Like, it reminds me, like, every time I start, like, an online session or, any workshop that we do or something, I always challenge everyone, like, hey, be in search for the thing that could really help you today. Like, when we're in search for it, there's a better chance at finding it, right? As opposed to, like, I kind of already know this, or I've already done this, or like, show up being like, you know what? This much of a shift can change everything for me. Or this small shift could go from pretty good audition to great audition. And so be in search for it. And so I think, like, in your case, right, it's easier to see it because you're playing Vanessa over and over and over again, right? But the lessons, I think, probably were in front of you before, but just not as a parent, right? And so I just think this is for everyone listening. It's like, be in search for these moments that can really help you. Be like, if we were talking about, like, the placebo effect, right? It's like, if you're going to a therapist and one person might be like, that doesn't work. And it's like, well, if it works for you, then it works for you, whether it's like real or not, like energy healer or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a similar thing, right? Like,
Yes.
if you're doing your auditions and you're like, there's a lesson for me here,
Yes.
you'll probably find it if you look for it.
And your wife, Team Candy Forever, taught me years ago to write down my wins. And I am still doing that today, because you find evidence of what you're looking for. And I think as a human being, we can be inclined to find what's not working. But when you're looking for the lessons, when you're looking for the wins, you're going to find more evidence of it. So I wrote down my wins this morning, and it can be as the little things are the big things. But I got up when I said I was going to get up this morning, and I got in, kind of extra reps, memorizing material and rehearsing for next week. And I just think allowing ourselves to, in auditions, in class, in our personal lives, look for what's going well. It conditions you to, when the kind of next level is unlocked, find more evidence of what's going well. Because if you're looking for lack, you'll find it. And I have to catch myself in moments. There are going to be people that Vanessa, like, she lights them up and they're excited about her character. And then there are going to be people that absolutely hate her. And one thing I've discovered about soaps is the fans are absolutely incredible. And they're very, very passionate. And I have to remind myself, they're
hanging out with you every day.
And that's, again, the reminder to myself, if they're mad about her behavior, I'm not responsible for her choices. It means I'm doing my job. And, I just keep pouring into her, and that's what I focus on. But I think being grateful for their passion, being grateful for the people that love Vanessa the way I love Vanessa, and being grateful for the people who are like, you are for the streets. Because you know what? Like, that means, I have to justify her choices, but they don't. And it means that the work we're doing is getting people riled up and tuning in. And that's why we get to keep doing the thing we love, So I think at every moment separating myself and saying, what am I learning here? And we can do this in every stage. And also, what can I control? I can't control perception. I can't control if people think I'm talented or not. And there's something to kind of removing. It's kind of, it depends how deep you want to get, but it's kind of an ego death in a way, that if I am attached to the identity of being a kind person, of being a talented person or not, of being a good moral person or not, I can become obsessed with that identity. And then what happens if you see yourself as talented and then someone is saying, no, you're not, then what? Or like, if your identity is a working actor and the job goes away, then what? So it's been a really interesting experience to play a woman that I myself am not like, to say there's something to removing to letting people pass you in the street and say, they'll say, I hate you, or I'm mad at you. And I have to remind myself, oh, they're mad at her. But there's something freeing about saying, I can't get attached to identity in any way. Like, I have to just focus on continuing to evolve, learn lessons, and the rest. What can I control? I can control the work I put into something. I can control being kind, but then someone can hate you and it's okay. So it's been, obviously, when I said hi to you this morning, you're like, how's it been? And I'm like, it's a surprisingly spiritual journey.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing is true when auditioning, when in class, when, if you allow things to help you evolve as a human, then there's so much more payoff. But if I'm just focused on, what do people think of me? Do they think I'm talented enough? Do they think I'm good enough? Then I'm putting power in someone else's hands, versus how am I growing? How am I evolving? And how am I kind of letting ego go in all of this,
I mean, you're describing this through your journey, but I think there's a parallel that I want you to point out as well, though, within like the average actor, like when it comes to auditioning, right? Or when it comes to being on their journey of instead of like not worrying like necessarily what the casting director thinks, or do they approve, or do they think that you're good or whatever. It's like, you just need to be focused on yourself and you growing and you doing the best that you can, and owning all of that.
Yes. And I'm obsessed that you said this, because I think the thing that's really important to say here is, like, I am the average actor. All of us are at different places, and we're all just at whatever moment we're in right now, right? And I think saying that each moment, whether, again, we're on set or auditioning, each moment's presenting a unique experience for us to keep evolving and seeing, like we said before, how is this happening for me? And how do I not put control in someone else's hands? Because if I'm concerned what every casting director, or every viewer of a show, or every agent thinks of me, I'll go crazy.
Yeah.
I care what my dogs think about me. And look at this dog who likes me. Can you say hi? You're perfect. I love you. Yes. So the lesson here is care what dogs think about you.
Yes, that's the biggest lesson.
But also, I think that's the trap of, I hate to say it, but that's the trap of being alive, is like putting your power in other people's hands.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
100%.
I can, me, I can say I did the best I could. And if that is good enough in someone's mind or not good enough in someone else's mind, I can't let things outside of myself I can't let things outside of myself determine my worth ever. When I'm auditioning, when I'm working, and you never know what happens. Like, I'm never going to say things outside of who I am determine my worth. And I think that's a daily practice of coming back to, do my dogs and dogs in general like me?
It's you'll usually have the dogs like you pretty good, pretty easy, right?
Yeah. But I got to give you the secret is you got to get nails. This is my first time having nails. And so I'm kind of cheating. But
I want to talk to you about year one, which, I'm going to give my props to myself for a second because I wanted to bring you on the show immediately after you booked. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to relax and let Lauren do Lauren. I'll invite her later. But in episode 12, when you were on the show, I believe it was 18. It was, you were on episode 18 and now I think there's like 110 or something like that. But
wow.
In episode 18, you talked about things that you do to prepare for auditions and your preparation. And I was like really impressed with it. Then year one on the soap, you did a crazy preparation. You pretty much, and I remember, because you're good. We're good friends, but you're good friends with Candace too. And I would be like, oh, we should invite Lauren. And she would be like, we're not inviting Lauren. Lauren's off the grid. And so you were, year one, you were like, I am, like, it was a sacrifice. What you did to be like, I am like going to do this to the best of my ability. I'm going to give everything I can. I'm not going to be distracted by anything. I'm going to be all in on this job. Right. And I think a lot of people like aren't ready for that. Well, I think two things. One, how was that experience? And like, how were you like able to truly commit like that?
Oof, love that question. So I spoke to someone who had been on soaps before, and their advice was bury your head in the sand. Year one is going to be a huge challenge because of the rigor of the job. You're going to be memorizing when you're not on set. You're going to be reading scripts. You're going to be working with your coach. So just focus on that. And I kept saying to myself, this is everything I've worked for. I want to be able to look back and say I gave it 150%. And then because mental health, I made sure I scheduled fun and seeing friends with, unfortunately, it was with less consistency than maybe I had the year before, but being really cognizant of having some kind of balance. One of the best things I ever could have done, my friend Mary Catherine, one of my best friends, I hired her to run lines with me. And a couple of friends, my friend Danae and my friend Katie, also, we get on Zoom and run lines. My friend Sarah as well. Like I think finding a way to build time with friends into the process of it
smart.
Was really helpful because I get to see my friend and rehearse. And it's because, soaps, I'm going to say what I wish I'd known going into it. We have 4 cameras and generally you get a rehearsal and then if we get take 1, we move on. If we get what we need on take 1, we'll move on. So it moves very fast. And I just didn't want to be showing up to work not firing on all cylinders. So if my rehearsals are at home with my friend or with a coach, then I felt like I could show up prepared. And it's fun. I'm getting to do what I love. I think year one, transparently, there was a little bit of an undercurrent of fear because it was a very new experience. And surprise, surprise, I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I just kept trying to find the ways that was the character's experience too. So I could say, well, there are ways in which she really wants to be a great realtor and a great mom and a great wife and a great lover. And like there are ways in that she wants to show up that I can pour what I'm feeling into her. And then therapy also as well. But I think, again, seeing all of that as an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to challenge myself. I kept saying, thank you for this abundance. This is everything I've worked for. And finding ways to romanticize it and make it more fun was huge. But but it taught me more than anything how much I love what we do.
That's awesome. So did you find it challenging going through that process of like, I'm going to commit the way that you did? Or did it come very like natural? Like at what point did you kind of say like, oh wait, I'm like in the swing of things. I got it.
Um, I would call myself an intense person. So I had to schedule fun. I had to schedule time with friends. I had to make sure these are the hours I'm memorizing and working on the material, and then this is when I'm going to bed. So I think giving myself permission to be imperfect was really important. One of my biggest takeaways, it was a self-inflicted kind of, I really want to show up and do my best. And then there's a world in which your gifts, like I think that hard work is a gift, can become your downfall when you can study your lines all day long and a line can still go in the moment because you're having a really intense moment with someone. And season 1, the first time that happened, you would have thought I hurt someone's family. Like, and my amazing friend Justin on set came to my dressing room and was like, I know you. Are you being nice to my friend? And gave me a hug. And I was like, I'm not being nice to your friend. But that's where, again, in the audition, if I spiraled after the audition, I thought, okay, well, what is this bringing up for me? What do I have the opportunity to heal that actually has nothing to do with this audition? It's as deep as you want it to be. And so playing a woman who's super imperfect helped me embrace letting go of control. It's so funny, it just aired, but one of the scenes that I had my first couple weeks where my storyline got really intense, we shot them in June, and I had over 100 pages of dialogue a week. So by the last day of that first week, I dropped a line, and internally I was like, you are never forgiven. You have messed up. And instead of focusing on all the things that were right there, I was like, well, you blacked out in that moment, and now you are like Stanislavski will never forgive you. And watching it, that scene was so alive.
Hey, if you're wanting to improve your auditions, pay attention. First off, thanks so much for being a part of the show. And so I want to give you a gift. Our Improve Your Audition Bootcamp is coming up. It starts on November 17th. It's 5 workshops over the span of 6 days. We're bringing in 4 casting directors and 4 of our Get Scene working actor mentors. This is going to be an incredible week for you to really be able to improve those auditions. I want to tell you exactly how it works. Each and every workshop will be focused on specific ways for you to improve those auditions, giving you audition hacks or specific questions you should ask or answer within the scene. And then we're going to be looking at auditions each night as well. So it's a wonderful format and formula to give you something specific to be able to implement into your process to make your auditions better. It's a great way for you to go from like a good audition to a great audition, or a, pretty darn good audition to a bookable audition. And so this is a really fantastic boot camp that's only $37. It's starting on November 17th. We already have Erica Bream from Bream Doyle Casting, Kimberly Wisted from Fincannon and Associates, Chase Paris from Feldstein Paris confirmed to be guests at this event, along with Tatiana Zappardino from Tulsa King, Judd Lorman from SEAL Team. I mean, the lineup is just absolutely phenomenal. And so I want to give you the gift that if you're listening to this show, I just want to say thank you so much. And if you're a fan of what we do here at Get Scene, you can join us at the boot camp. It's only $37. It starts November 17th. But my gift to you is, if you would like to get this boot camp for free, and you're somebody that already signs up for our different workshops and things, or maybe you want to try one for the first time, if you purchase one of our workshops and then add in the boot camp and use promo code FREEBOOTCAMP, the boot camp will be my gift to you. So again, all you have to do is choose any workshop, and that's something that you would probably already be doing to add to you being an actor and add to your homework and add to you and the relationships that you're building within your actor journey, whether it be getting in front of an agent or a casting director. And when you purchase one of those workshops, add in the boot camp and use the promo code free boot camp, and then I'm going to take care of the boot camp for you. Okay. And then you will be our guest. So I hope to see you there. So you have two options right now. Choose which one is best for you. $37 for the boot camp, or go sign up for a workshop. Get in front of one of these industry pros and really learn from them and know what you need to do to move forward, and then come join us at the boot camp. So it's going to start November 17th. It's that entire week. It's going to be incredible. I cannot wait to see you there. And thanks again for listening and being part of the show, and enjoy.
And afterwards I fell out of my chair and I was like, we did it. But
yeah, Lauren, there's an editor there for a reason.
But
don't take his job and do it perfect.
And they're incredible. And Charles, I love you. And it was such a win to get to the end of the season and be able to go to my friend Ariel and be like, I'm not as hard on myself as I used to. And she was like, good girl, because there's too much. We can't possibly. It's a downfall of mine that sometimes I will have an impossible standard. And it's like, for what? For who? So my new kind of mantra is performance over perfection.
Tell Candy this.
Oh, well.
Come on, tell her.
We're cut from the same hardworking cloth. And it's just allowing yourself to be human, just like this character is human. But I think the biggest surprise to me has been if you allow it to be a spiritual process and an opportunity for you to grow, that's really exciting, and that doesn't go away if a job goes away. Like you can always be evolving. And I like to joke that that's a fun kink of mine, that, like really like having growth mindset be the exciting thing that's in my control. How I perceive things is in my control.
Yes.
As opposed to looking for what's not going right or what is lacking, or so I keep saying, if the younger version of myself knew she would be getting challenged like this, doing the things she loves, she would be jumping up and down. If she knew she was making people big mad on the internet, she would be jumping up and down. Like, just grateful to be here.
Right. Is there something that you have learned in this process that before you had this job, you like stressed out about it, thinking that you needed to have like a specific standard or do a certain thing, and now that you've kind of arrived to this type of job, you're like, wow, I was stressing about that for no reason?
She stresses about so much that I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
Yeah, it's funny because it's true.
Because I feel like as actors, we put a lot of stress on ourselves, and we think we have to prepare and do all these things. And I feel like I'm like getting to the point where I'm trying to make things simpler,
Well, what I'll say, and I don't know if this answers your question, I think generally, and I made a joke about being intense, but generally infusing, I like to say like alchemizing to joy. Like, how can I take this intensity and romanticize the process of learning lines, make it joyful, make it fun? I think, again, talking about like stripping away identity, I have the identity of someone who works hard, but I want to show up and play. I want to show up and feel alive. I want to show up and be in flow and kind of lose myself. So I think, again, it kind of comes back to this idea of perfectionism that I'm always working against, that the lines have to be perfect and your performance, like you have to nail everything. I think going into it, just like in auditions, if I would pick apart my auditions at times and say, oh, I should have done that, or I did that. Well, it was what it was. And there's what I love so much about being on this show, but what I love about soaps is it feels a little bit like theater and TV had a baby, because whatever that take is, you got to let it go and move on, because you've got 17 other scenes that day. And I think sometimes harping on moments thankfully I'm not sitting here trying to get this moment right. I'm just hoping to connect with you and be of service. But we can lose that when we're on set. We want to get it right. And we have an idea of what it should be versus discovering something. And I just think the idea of letting go and losing control. And that was one of the big gifts of season 1. I'm working with an incredible coach who said, you tend to be a controlled actor. And up until this point, Vanessa's felt like she's in control and now she's losing control. So what does that look like for you? And I've had so many moments that I was like, whoa, that was me out of control as Vanessa. And so why are you trying to be perfect? That's a trap,
Yeah.
But I just keep saying everything about us is intentional. And thank God there was a reason I was called to play Vanessa. She's teaching me things and I'm able to lose control. I'm able to be in my power, learning from her, And again, I will not commit fraud. I just want to say that. I will not cheat. I will not. And it just, not that I have anyone to cheat on, but she takes a drink.
Yeah, everyone, pay attention right now. How is this woman single over here? I don't understand. This is crazy.
How much time do you have? Bless.
I have someone in mind.
Oh,
I do. I have someone in mind.
Yikes.
I'll have to tell you downstairs.
Oh, no.
Right. I have someone in mind for you. So the next thing that I want to bring up, because you talked about like making learning lines fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of talked about this beforehand, but it's like how, like there's specific times in the industry where like the thing feels mundane, right?
Mm.
If you're an actor, right, and it's understanding that there's levels to it, right, and you're just like at the next level. But it's like if you're an actor that's like trying to get auditions, right, you're just like submitting, and you're like, gosh, this submitting is so annoying, right? Then you get an agent, you start getting auditions, then you audition. And I promise you, if you don't have all the auditions yet, believe it or not, this happens. You're like, oh, another audition. At some point you kind of feel that. You're like, this is just another audition. But now it's like you have it, and now it's like, oh gosh, another page of dialogue, another scene, right? And you're talking about making it fun. It's like there's always this next level that we have to pay attention on how we're looking at things.
Yes.
And how on our energy, our state with the thing that like we dreamt for, wished for, that we have, or is like make sure that we don't fall into the trap of like, oh gosh, another one.
And I think it's human to have moments of, I think we like to be comfortable, and there's so much discomfort and vulnerability with what we do that I have mantras that I go to when I'm learning and learning lines and working on scripts. I always say to myself, I thank God that they're writing for me, because the alternative is to not have anything to memorize. So how can I keep saying thank you for this abundance? And also, if you believe in having a calling, I've been called to do this, and I'm not going to take it for granted. And just coming back to that as a touchstone, I think, again, we've talked about you will get what you look for. And when I work with my friend Mary Catherine, there's this song from Annie, again, preschool teacher. There's a song from Annie called Opportunity that if I need a boost, I turn it on. It's a great song. It'll make you cry. But I joke that it's our safe word, that we'll say opportunity, and stepping into, I get to do this. And that I was talking to my friend Courtney, the dream will kick your butt. Like she's number 1 on a call sheet right now and is absolutely rocking it. And I sent her a voice memo and I said, I want to remind you that like all feelings are welcome. The dream will challenge you. It will kick your butt. And you have been called to do this. And I want to remind you what a star you are and how capable you are. And they're so lucky to have you on that set. And she'll do the same for me in ways that like you surrounding yourself with people who build you up, because the human brain is a wild place to be. But the more you have touchstones, like I get to run at this audition. I get to go on this meeting. I get to, And then, be a human who can turn it off and watch something funny and kind of not be on all the time. Because there is a kind of spiritual exhaustion that I think can come with being growth oriented and being in an industry that confronts us with ourselves all the time. So, I carve out time to kind of decompress as well and to kind of not be focused on my growth, but rather on my couch with my dogs watching smut, like whatever housewife franchise I'm obsessed with at the moment. I need it.
I feel like you didn't realize it, but it was giving you a lot of inspiration.
Come on.
Yeah.
When I tell you I got to work with two of the housewives from a particular franchise, I was bursting inside. I was bursting. So yeah, I think giving ourselves grace, realizing we're all out here doing the best we can, and that, the reason I said earlier when you said, the average actor, it's like we're all just in whatever stage we're in doing the best we can. No one's any better than anyone else. We're all just trying to figure it out.
Yep.
And be kind and do the best work possible. And I wish I could tell my younger self, like, you're not going to be any different when the thing happens to you. You're just going to be at that stage doing the best you can. And my younger self had this idea of what it meant to arrive and make it and what that meant, because I left the industry for a while and there was a sense of like I'd failed somehow. And everything that happened in that season prepared me for this,
Yep.
And I just think allowing yourself to be where your feet are and be fully in that moment without saying, I need the thing to feel good about myself. Because trust me, when you step into that thing that you're praying for, there will be challenges that moment you're in is preparing you for,
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of the Steve Jobs quote where he's talking about it's so much easier to connect the dots when you're looking backwards.
Yes.
It's like when you're like, oh, you're at the time you're thinking you're a failure, right? And then you're like, oh my gosh, wow, I really needed that for XYZ reason.
Yes.
And, so it's having a certain amount of faith on what's going on in your life and knowing, I mean, we keep saying it, but like it's happening for you.
Yes. Yes. And I think, you and I have talked a lot as friends and then on the podcast previously about perspective and being able to say, like, on my quote unquote worst day today, I've been through worse than this. This challenge, like the hard times in my life, the really dark seasons prepared me to say, this is a good day. And this, like, getting material to memorize is a blessing, and I have my health and I have a roof over my head and I get to do the thing I love. So you won't catch me complaining, because I have reverence for the fact that it took going through that. I'm lucky to be here, and then I'll be recreationally petty so that I'm a person. I know we're getting really deep, which I love, but then it's also like be silly and go have fun with your friends and, give yourself a break from the kind of spiritual journey of it all. That's why I think after you go to a really dark place on set, going home and watching some Schitt's Creek, going home and like taking care of yourself that way, that this is a challenging job at every stage. And it's incredible. And it's such a gift to be able to do it. And also taking care of yourself is a big part of the job,
100%. What has what's been the biggest challenge? I mean, I feel like you've gone over a bunch of different things, so I'm not sure if there's something else, but I mean, you mentioned the, people talking to you, but we're really talking to Vanessa and how that could, maybe affect your psyche, being too hard on yourself. Is there, or like maybe what was like the biggest, what's been the biggest surprise?
The biggest surprise, honestly, and I said before that I am so grateful for soap fans, that they love the show. And I think the biggest surprise has been, Candy and I were out to lunch and she said, has anyone been mean to you? And I said, oh, well,
Candace is always looking for people that have been mean to her friends so she can go kill them. She's like, who's
She
been
has
mean?
my back.
Tell me so
And
I can assassinate.
I said, it's interesting. if people can't separate you from the character and they're mad, they might have something to say to you. And I think the biggest surprise was that there are moments that you process that as a person where it's surprising because you haven't dealt with it before. But that for someone with, I joke that I'm a human Care Bear, someone who just wants to hug, who just like wants everyone to get along, that it didn't take me out. I think 5-10 years ago, if someone said something that was unkind to me online, or that it would have really, I don't think I would have been able to do it. And having the mindset of you can have a human emotion connected to that experience because it's surprising, because it's new. But I will continue to come back to the younger version of myself would be so proud of me for being in the game. And in 2025, that's part of being in the public eye that no one can really prepare you for.
Why do you think? How do you think that happened? Like before, I probably wouldn't have been able to take it, but now I can.
I like to remind myself who I am, in the sense of I can look in the mirror and know who I am, know my heart, and I know what I've been through. And that girl who fought for joy, who fought for her health, who fought for her life, would be horrified if I let anything take me out of the miracle of being in this moment. Mm. So it is a choice to engage with and attach to the belief. I get to decide if that rolls off my back, or, if someone's tearing down my appearance, I want how I look to be the least interesting thing about me always. Is that where my worth lies? So do I believe that message, And it's confronting because you're like, oh, I don't want to make you feel bad. Why are you, But it's also recognizing that it doesn't have anything to do with you. And I'll give my mama and daddy notes on what I look like, but I can't change it, And I think being kind to yourself, recognizing that it's something that happens, but I know where I've been, and I know that, again, that's happening for me to show me like, whoa, I'm stronger than I thought I was, because I am a super sensitive person, but it's what I'm choosing to believe and attach to, and what I think is valuable in myself, Yeah. And you can tell me you think I'm a horrible actress or a great actress, and I don't have control over any of it. So I can't let that distract me from why I'm here, which I think ultimately is the calling to say, I never thought I'd get here. If I can get here, so can you. And grateful to be alive, grateful to be at the party, So I think it's all of us continuing to come back to, I know who I am and what I'm made of and why I'm here, and focusing on what's going right. And, that I'm really grateful that you're watching the show at the end of the day. And I'm just not going to choose to believe the thing that might be meant to hurt. And I just want to say, for everything that's hurtful, there's an abundance of people excited about the show and excited about the character. And it's, again, what you choose to focus on.
I know for some reason we're designed to focus on the one person that's complaining as opposed to the 25 that were like, incredible.
And I think it's human, and also an opportunity to say, what am I going to choose to focus on? And do I choose to believe that thing? And continuing to say, I'm going to focus on doing my job and being of service on set. And, I think there's a culture generally, like if you look at what happened with The Summer I Turned Pretty, they put out a statement of like not condoning bullying towards actors. So I think there's a real passion for shows, and people can forget that an actor's not their character, you know? And again, that's such a small part of it. It's just, I say it because I think we get to focus on what we believe. And I just believe that my calling is to say, you know, remember who you are, what really matters, and why you're here ultimately. So that's, yeah, I think I'm just surprised. I didn't know I had the ability to not let that take me out. And I think it's because I remember who I was in my darkest moments, and I prayed for this. So I'm gonna look at that as evidence of me doing my job, evidence of me making people feel something. And maybe that means I'm delusional, and I'm not disagreeing.
I was, you know what I was thinking of?
What?
when you were talking right there, I was just for some reason thinking of the Britney Spears song "Stronger," and I just was like, it was just echoing for you, just stronger than yesterday. I was like, yeah, this is Lauren's
Yeah.
anthem right now.
Yes. I mean, and there's, and I think, again, why that's surprising to me is because I wouldn't have been able to say that 5 years ago. And I look for evidence of why, because so I was someone who wanted this for so long. And I keep also looking for evidence of why it happened when it did. And I think really knowing who you are helps, you know, and having these touchstones of, this is why I took the stairs, because everything I went through prepared me for this, to enjoy every moment of it, and kind of perceived obstacles as evidence of how much you've grown and how far you've come. So yeah,
Well, that's awesome, and you should be proud of yourself. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud of you and grateful for you. And thank you.
Well, we have 5 questions to end strong, Lauren.
Ooh.
I know, we have to end already. Unbelievable.
Rude.
Question 1 is, tell me something that you're grateful for today.
Today, I'm grateful for a moment to pause and zoom out and reflect on feeling drastically different than the last time we had a conversation behind these desks.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. This one will be interesting. We'll see if you say the obvious answer. What is a movie, TV show, or book that changed the trajectory of your life?
The obvious answer is Beyond the Gates.
Yeah.
Yes, and very, very, very grateful for that.
I love it. Question 3 is, what's something in your daily routine that you really cherish? And I'm sure your daily routine has changed quite a bit since last time. So,
I, again, come back to this being a spiritual journey. So I have a devotional that I check in with daily, and looking for evidence of whatever you believe in, God, universe, I like to say, look for evidence of how God's moving. And it's trained me to say, whoa, that perceived challenge is a gift, or that win is something I can't idolize. It's helped really, having a spiritual practice has helped ground me and stay steady. And it's a gift, because otherwise it's a roller coaster, and I don't like roller coasters.
man, I love me some roller coasters.
Oh my gosh, are you okay?
What's something you're currently trying to improve in your life right now?
Oh, sorry.
You know what's so funny? I feel like everybody has a similar response when I ask that question. They're all like, oh God. Like they've all just been gut punched.
Something I'm trying to improve. The joke is, I love trying to improve everything. So I've been getting really granular with focusing on little things. And right now I'm focusing on having a high frequency. So meditating, having a dance party, walking my dogs, things that,
Are you having a dance party by yourself?
oh yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
my dogs love it when I bust out. They
Yeah,
freak out.
I'll dance with Maverick. I'll dance party
they
by
freak
myself.
out. They
Yeah.
love it. So just kind of infusing joy into my day so that I have a high frequency. So, I want to vibe high. I want to feel good. And I think the misconception is that we just wake up feeling great. Maybe you wake up feeling great every day. I have to calibrate
Of course you do. Yeah, you got to put yourself in a good state.
Yes.
Yeah.
And listening to content that inspires me. And I think just really recognizing that is a choice and effort. And I always feel better for doing it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you talked about the like, oh no, I have to like calibrate. It's like, I have to do that too. Sometimes I'll get in like a lower, you said frequency, lower frequency or lower energy. And then, maybe I'll go downstairs and work out and I'll put the music really loud. And I'm like, I have to remember to do this. Like when I feel a little stuck, when I feel a little in a slump, like move your body, play loud music, dance a little bit, like you will feel better.
Yes.
Like you have to push yourself because when you get a little like in the mud, you feel like you want to be stuck.
Can I throw something out there? Because I did this awesome self-development course last weekend. And the gentleman leading it, I asked him about resistance. And he said resistance is your ego and your kind of human self wanting to stay where you are because where you are is safe and comfortable. So it excites me to think about, like, I'm not going to give in to my ego. Yuck. Like, I'm going to practice taking action to feel better.
Yeah.
And something about that, because I think so many of us are like, oh, why do I resist the things that make me feel good? And it's like, because you're human. And all of us do that. But I think it helped me to say, oh, like that's how I'm wired biologically to resist the thing that feels good. So I'm going to go take the yoga class. I'm going to go do, meditate, even though I'm like, well, I want to have snacks and chill. Yeah. Snacks are great too. Also good.
Well, last question, Lauren. If you wanted to make sure that all the listeners got one thing for sure, maybe based on our conversation or maybe something we didn't go over, what would it be?
That your worth isn't defined by anything, let alone the job or the things that sometimes our ego or heart want to believe they're attached to in this business or in the world. I go deep, but I just think it's like the lie is that I'll get the thing and then I'll be enough and then you get the thing and then you have another opportunity to evolve and grow and realize that if you get attached to any of it, it's a trap.
Yep. And you'll come up with all sorts of reasons on why you're not good enough if that's what it is.
Yes.
It has nothing to do. Yeah, 100%.
I have as much worth on my worst day when I'm down and out as I do on the mountaintop. Like that's the key.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Lauren Buglioli, always good to be with you and chat with you. Everyone, slide in her DMs. She needs a date. Tell her that you love Vanessa. And we gotta make this happen. What's going on?
Or tell me that you don't. Either way, I'm doing my job. And listen, I'm in a season of decentering men, so sorry.
Oh shit! All right.
Sorry to that man that you want to set me up with.
Next season, say, hey, it's a new season. Apparently, I'm supposed to slide in the DMs.
Thank you,
Lauren. Love you so much. I'm proud of you, and congratulations again.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.